to our presentation today. My name is Nguyễn and I am a leader of the group Closeup băng lửa con gái bạc hà BS trà xanh Mavis cam đào and Sensodyne ngọc trai. And today my group will represent the investment report, the final report of lecture financial management. Next, next folks. And this report is divided into the six main parts. The first it is executive summary and a key introduction. The second is external and internal analysis. And this part we will focus on the three main sessions. This is a PESTEL analysis, butterfly force, and a SWOT analysis. And the third part is a financial analyst. The fourth part is a non-financial analyst. The five part is a stock performance, and the final is conclusion. The first next slide. The first we will go to executive summary and key introduction. The first of all, this is a company overview. Gemadept was established in 1990, was state-owned enterprise and was among the first three companies led by Vietnam government for pilot acquisition in 1993, and it's become a publicly list on the Ho Chi Minh Stock Exchange in 2002. It's a headquarters in the Ho Chi Minh City and grow in the market leader in the maritime transport and logistics, playing a pioneering role in the container shipping service in Vietnam and connection between the domestic port and global trade routes. The company operated with a wide network of seaport and logistics hubs across the country, like Phước Long ICD, Nam Hải ICD, Nam Đình Vũ Port, Dung Quốc Port, Bình Dương Logistics Center, and Gemadept Seaport. Next, the and the company had a strong achievement and diversification. In the 2023, the Gemadept ranked among the Vietnam top 500 enterprise and selected by Forbes Asia Best Under Billion. It's also diversifying operation in logistics, real estate, group plantation. And this report will focus on the three objects. This is the internal and external analysis. The next is financial and non-financial performance evaluation of Gemadept, and the final is strategic positioning and investment recommendation. The next part is a key introduction. As I talked, the Gemadept cooperation was officially established on the 24 July 1993 and involving from the origin as a state-owned enterprise under the Vietnam Marine Administration in 1990. It was the first enterprise chosen for the Vietnam Pilots Acquisition Program, setting a precedent for broad economic reform. 2004, the Gemadept established a subsidiary in Singapore and Malaysia. 2006, the company capital increased through the public share insurance. The period from 2007 to 2008, acquisition of deep sea container virtual and joint venture with international partners. In the period of 2011, it's learned a rubber plantation in Tentative in Cambodia. From a domestic logistics service provider, Gemadept had become a diversified enterprise with strong international presence. The next part is a criteria that Germany's involves. Germany's comprehensive philosophy includes in delivering a comprehensive multimodal logistics solution. The company operates an integrated logistics network that includes DC port and inland container depots (ICD), the warehousing and public warehouse, inland waterway and container transport, sea and air freight forwarding, and distribution center, cold chain logistics, and automatic logistics. It has invented in strategic infrastructure at the Tân Sơn Nhất Air Cargo Terminal and Inland Logistics Hub in Bình Dương. Gemadept also lists a public-private partnership in logistic infrastructure development and attracting international investor into the multimodal logistics project. Next, next đi Phúc. And the original structure of Germany's Germany's government built on a three-tier structure. The first is a post of a director listed by chairman Đỗ Văn Nhân and include the professionals such as a vice chairman CEO Phạm Quốc Long, Nguyễn Thế Dung, and Đỗ Công Khanh, and and, uh, and other parts of service supervisor chaired by Lưu Trưng Giang, ensuring regulatory compliance and internal audit effectiveness. Germany's governance is enhanced by international involvement, notably through Germany's board member senior officers, reflecting its strategic partner with submit more cooperation with acquire a 10% stake in 2019. Next, cây phố rồi. And the next is external and internal analysis. And first of all, this is a PESTEL framework analysis. The first session is political. Vietnam is a socialist republic ruled by a centralist one-team system with the Communist Party of Vietnam, or CPV, holding absolutely political authority. According to the Article 4 of our Constitution, the CPV is also political force allowed to lead the state and society. As of 2016, 95.8% Nation Assembly member were CPV member, highlight the party dominance across the legislative, executive, and judicial branch. The four pillars or tứ trụ of national leadership include the General Secretary Tô Lâm, the most powerful figure directing the party's strategic and discipline. President Lương Cường, Summoners, head of state and supreme commander of the armed force. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính, head of government and policy execution, and others are chairmen of National Assembly Trần Thanh Mẫn, oversee legislation and parliamentary affairs. On this list, the high-ranking Politburo member and key architect of national policy, including the 10-year social economic development strategy (SEDS) and 5-year development plan, which are crucial for infrastructure and logistic development. Vietnam centralized government and policy community is especially important for long capitalize post operation and logistics. The model also the government to coordinate in infrastructure zoning, post master planning, and custom reform, avoiding political gridlock often see in the multiple democracies. Try the large-scale national project efficiently. The state have identified the logistics as a strategic economic sector, challenging strong investment into the North-South Express Railway, National Highway, and pride investment to the connect spot with industrial zone. Vietnam Seaport Smart Plan in the period from 2021 to 2030, vision to 2050, and modernizing deep sea port and such as Lạc Huyền and Cái Mép Thị Vải, cross-border logistic infrastructure with China to border regional trade. Uh, Vietnam, Vietnam unmeasurably has gained romance since renovation or đổi mới period reform, exercising greater influence over the budgeting and oversight is based solely in infrastructure and trade policy, with still under CBV direction and legislature has a support reform and create more structure and transparent business environment. Uh, Next, default. Fold next. The next part is economic sector. The overview of economics. Vietnam in 2024 had grown with seven, seven nearly more 7%, surpassing the government target of 7%. The final batch of year growth hit the 7.55%, the highest of year, and marking the three consecutive quarter of acceleration. The service sector were primarily growth driver, contributing nearly more 50%, followed by industry and construction, with 45%. And in this and in economy, the role of the logistics sector is so very crucial. Uh, Logistics contribute around the 5.17% of GDP, supported by recovery in the manufacturing, trade, tourism, import and export. Train import and export, and on the other hand, transportation and warehousing grew by 10.82%, adding 0.68 percentage point to GDP. However, high logistic costs and low LBI logistic performance index continue to limit the global value chain competitiveness. Tiếp before. And exchange rate and foreign trade is also have play important role in the economy of Vietnam. According to USD exchange rate is this BC rate a by 5% average 25 VND to USD. Double edges impact increasing import costs like fuel or machinery, but support uh, is the total trade turnover reached more 7 86 billion, up to the 50.4%. Index export have more 405 billion, and imports with 380 billion. The trade surplus is achieved 24.7 billion. Exports were mainly manufactured goods 88%, while import focused on input material and machinery with 90 also reached 23 billion, list by tourism and transportation. The service imports were 36 by more 36 billion, with the transportation accounting for 40.3%. The service trade deflect stood at more 12 billion, continue to be a quick spot in the economy. Tiếp before. And the next is social of PESTEL analyst. Uh, Vietnam have a various nation with 54 nationals and have a diverse population with ethnicity and religions, requiring flexible logistics during the cultural festival. Uh, with 101 million people with 70 in working age, it have dedicated a strong labor force for logistic operation with an aging population is rising. It demand for the healthcare related to logistics like medicine delivery and with a rapid urbanization like Ho Chi Minh City, Hanoi or Da Nang is a boost demand for the last mile delivery and urban logistics. The Gemadept have also invest in flexible and exclusive service to meet diverse and evolving consumer needs. Next, and consumer attitude and living standard is also important function in this sector. Economic in Vietnam have a lot of economic platform like Lazada, Shopee, TikTok. Prime demand for fast, flexible, and logistics. The consumer expect the high service quality, real-time tracking, and with digital convenience. Logistics firm must be adopt logistics for text like AI, automation, smart warehousing, and income per capita reach $4,000 in 2024 and reflecting rising living standard. By 2030, the strong middle class ground with about predicting from fresh professor, it will make more high demand for premium value as cost service in the logistic and terminate should align logistic offering with affluent digital saving consumers. Next, uh, next is uh, unemployed and employed grade. According to the static office under Ministry of Planning and Investment, the labor force and the number of employed worker in the final part of 2024 increased compared to the previous quarter in the same period last year. And for the number of employed reached 52 million, up to 0.8% to previous quarter and 1.24% compared to the same period last year. The labor force participant rate national was nearly 69% on par with the 2022, while the quality of human resource improved as the proportion of trained workers with degree of certificates reached 28.3%. Notably, the country had about more 1 million unemployed people of working age, with the unemployed rate dropping to 2.24%, down down nearly 0% point year on year. Meanwhile, the underemployed rate is also decreased 1.84%, down 0.18% point compared to the previous year. Is also reflects that Vietnam logistics industry benefited from the report in the trade activity, but it continues face to significant challenge. High logistic costs, underdeveloped infrastructure, and limit competitive to compare to the regional peer have prevented the sector from full capability on the opportunity brought by the trade growth and global economic integration. And the next part is the technologies. Uh, the country is making making significant strides in the technological advancements, which play critical role in the modernization of its economies. The government had launched the National Digital Transformation Program to the 2025 with vision to 2013 and I mean to building a digital government. The country ICT infrastructure is steadily improving with nationwide 4G coverage and 5G joint OP in improvement in the hit metro city like Cần Thơ, Hồ Chí Minh or capital Hanoi. Uh, Moreover, Vietnam is emerging a vibrant tech startup ecosystem in the Southeast Asia. In the area like economic, fintech, and digital with strong development. Metro City are active developing smart city entity and e-government system, enhancing the business environment and public service. The next is environment. The next is environment smart. Uh, uh, Vietnam is also one of country most vulnerable to climate change, uh, especially in a sea level rise. A study of Vietnam Maritime University project that sea level could rise 75 to 100 centimeter by to 100. Posing several threat to lower-lying ports such as Nam Định Vũ in Hải Phòng and Tourmaline in Cái Nét. There recent face increasing flood erosion disruption in the white partner which directly affect the port operation, delay the cargo loss then and increase the maintain cost for critical infrastructure. In addition to physical risk, the Vietnam logistics sector face increasing environment pressure to reduce the greenhouse gas emission. The transport station industry alone contribute more 39 million tons of carbon dioxide in the 2022, roughly 11% of the country's total emission. This environmental burden is promoting the stricter regulatory expectation and shaping the consumer preference toward a cleaner logistic practice. In response, in this rebound, company like Gemadept begin to adopt the emission reducing technology such as electric rubber crane, digital fleet management system, and route or optimization tools. Their efforts are not only crucial for environmental completion, but also necessary for enhancing operational efficiency and reserving the company competitive event in a sustainability conscious global markets. And the next year, final batch of PESTEL frameworks is legal. Uh, Vietnam operate under the civil liquid system influenced by the legal tradition with the codified status serving the primary legal source. In recent years, the country has undertaken significant legal reform to the enhance transparency, reduce prosperity, and align with the international standards. Notable reform include the laws on ethics in 2020, or the laws on investment 2020, also in 2020, which have a streamlined business registration procedure and provide a clear guideline for foreign investor. Vietnam participants in a mature trade agreement such as a comprehensive progressive agreement for Trans-Pacific partner and EU Vietnam Free Trade Agreement have further necessitative improvement in its legal framework, particularly in the area intellectual property right and dispute resolution mechanism. That development contribute to Vietnam rising interest as a destination for foreign direct investment. Uh, this is the end of the pastel analysis framework. And next, when we'll talk about the butterfly fork framework. Ok nghe rồi.
Hello, Miss Duyen. My name is Nguyen, and today I will talk about the butterfly force of Vietnam. First, we go to the competitive rivalry. Vietnam's logistic and port operation market is characterized by high competitive intensity, driven by both a fragmented do- domestic landscape and the dominance of foreign players. The country is home to over 30,000 logistic companies, yet around 20% of the market share is controlled by the international firms such as DHL, Moss, and others. This multinational cooperation will bring with them strong financial resources, advanced technology, and extensive global networks, thereby raising the bar of competition across our logistics system. And within this challenging environment, Gemadept compete directly with not only global logistics giants, but also capable local firms such as Innotrans, Transmix, PIMC, and Sotrans. In particular, the Courier Express and the parcel segment in the broader freight market are marked by intense price competition, which has driven their profit margins across the industry. And to survive growth, companies are forced to focus on enhancing operational efficiency, controlling costs, and introducing service innovation. In the container port segment, competition is more concentrated and structured. Several report collaboration leads the market with a commanding of 47 share, recognized for its widespread port network and its pioneering status at Vietnam first certified green port. Vietnam Maritime Corporation followed with approximately 20% of the market. Gemadept and Baconship hold smaller but still significant share, each controlling about 7 to 8%. Collectively, these top four players account for roughly 82% of the national container throughput, creating a market where a few dominant firms set the pace. To the Gemadept's competitive strategy, uh, and despite the intense competitive landscape, Gemadept has successfully carved out a, a differentiated position by building a fully integrated logistic ecosystem and focusing on specialized services and advanced technologies. The company's nationwide infrastructure span deep sea ports, inland container depots, or ICD, distribution center or DC, and key logistic hubs, enabling it to provide a comprehensive end-to-end solution for its clients. This level of integration gives Gemadept both scale and operational flexibility. And in addition to this, Gemadept target high-value markets such as cold chain logistics, automotive transport, and oversized cargo, offering tailored service that many general logistics providers cannot match. Its early investment in smart technology such as smart port system, smart gate platform, and warehouse management system software or WMS has improved both efficiency and customer service. Uh, and furthermore, Germany continues to expand its capacity to ongoing development, like the Naval of Phase 3 and the Chumling Phase 2A, reinforcing its long-term growth strategy. And looking ahead, Vietnam's logistics industry is expected to maintain a strong momentum with a projected compound annual growth rate of 6.67 to 8% from 2024 to 2029. However, this growth will inevitably attract more competition as both foreign and domestic players intensify their effort to gain market share. As the sector evolves, success will depend increasingly on the ability to achieve the operational excellence, undergo effective digital transformation, and then demonstrate the readiness for the ESG compliance. Moreover, the presence of a high entry and exit barrier further raise the stake, reinforcing the long-term rivalries and compelling our participants to continuously innovate. Next is the trade of new entrants. Uh, Entering the container terminal business require a massive capital and long development timelines. Projects like Gemlink or Namibia demand investment in the hundreds of millions of USD. Complex uh, regulatory involving land use, environmental approval, and maritime compliance can delay the new operation for 2 to 3 years. Uh, foreign owner foreign owner limits further has discouraged the global entrants from seeking full control. Gemadept has a strong advantage thanks to its nationwide and integrated logistic ecosystem, combining deep-sea port, ICT, distribution center, and digital platform. These assets bring the economy of scale, operational efficiency, and customer loyalty built for over 35 years, which are hard for the new engines to replicate. However, the entry is more feasible in larger segments like warehousing, last-mile delivery, or e-commerce logistics. These have lower capacity. These have lower capital requirement and benefit from rising FDI, e-commerce, and the government support for digital transformation. New players may also emerge in specialized or tech-enabled services where regulatory and capital barriers are not as high. Next, we go to the trade of substitute. In overall, the trade ranges from low to moderate for core deep-sea port operation, especially at facilities like Gemlink. Substitution risk is low due to their unmatched cost efficiency, high capacity, and scale. Air freight exists at a substitute, but it serves only niche market, given its high cost, from 12 to 60 times more expensive than sea freight for the same cargo weight. However, For domestic and regional logistics, the substitution threat is more pronounced. Alternative like uh, cross-border road transport, inland waterways, and rail freight are mainly adjacent, supported by the regional infrastructure projects and environmental concerns. In particular, inland waterway transport already handles around 48% of Vietnam's cargo volumes. Other pressure come from the vertical integration by manufacturers who develop their own logistics system from digital platforms that allow business to bypass traditional service provider. Finally, the global giants such as green logistics and supply chain diversification, like the China Plus One strategy, also introduce new substitution dynamics. And next, we go to the bargaining power of supplier. Uh, High power segment, including global supplier of port equipment and technology. This segment is concentrated with a few major players dominating the market for essential assets like the STX rings, RTGS, and a terminal operating system. These high-tech, capital-intensive items are central to the Gemadept's operation and subject to long procurement lead time. Creating a dependency in response, Gemadept adopt a strategic approach, build purchasing, long-term partnership, and co-developing core system like the smart code and replicate to reduce reliance and enhance bargaining leverage. Skilled labor also exhibit uh, moderate to high supplier power. Vietnam's logistics sector face a shortage of trained personnel, especially 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 crane operators, technicians, and logistic engineers. This security, compounded by the unionization, uh, increased the wages, increased the wage pressures, increased the wage pressures and turnover risk. Gemadept counter this through training, automation, and competitive compensation to attract and retain skilled workers. Energy in fuel supplier exert moderate to high power due to market volatility and global price exposure. Or through local competition and and electricity uh, electricity regulation offer some price flexibility. Marine fuel costs remain unpredictable. Gemadept's shift toward renewable ISO 5001 energy management and solar integration at port reflects a strategy to reduce long-term exposure. In contrast, local subcontracted services like trucking and maintenance are highly fragmented. Giving Gemadept strong bargaining power, the company leverage this through a competitive bidding, KPI-based supplier management, and diversification of service partner. Its procurement unit proactively monitor risk and negotiate terms to avoid over-reliance on any single vendor. And to the final of this part is the bargaining power of buyer. Large clients, including international shipping lines, retailer, and e-commerce platforms, account for a significant portion of Gemadept's volume. These buyers possess high bargaining leverage due to their ability to consolidate cargo, demand service customization, and negotiate integrated end-to-end logistic solution. The rapid rise of Vietnam e-commerce sector, uh, projected to reach 52 billion by 2025, has further intensified buyer expectation around speed, cost, and digital transparency. This trend has forced providers like Gemadept to invest in bundled services like combined port operation, warehousing, inland transport, and IT integration. Buyer choice and competition are also abundant, with over 34,000 logistic firms and more than 800 courier parcel providers operating in Vietnam. Our clients enjoy multiple alternatives, especially for unbundled services like trucking and last mile delivery. Major major rivals such as S&P and VIMC, alongside government-backed port projects, offer further switching options. The ability of key customers like MSC to redirect cargo flow underscore their power to save volume when terms are unfavorable. However, Gemadept has developed a strategic access to and service uh, differentiation that reduce switching likelihood. Its smart port and river gate platforms enable rapid clearance and end-to-end visibility, raising switching costs for integrated clients. Moreover, the German deepwater terminal capable of serving ultra-large vessels offer a unique operation advantage, not easily that is not easily replicated by other ports. The infrastructure strength, coupled with the multimodal capability, increase the Gemadept's value proportion for customers requiring reliability and throughput. Uh, Gemadept also benefit from a broad and diversified client base, which include MNC, e-commerce retailer, FDI manufacturer, and local SME. This diversity limits over-reliance on any single buyer or segment, dampening uh, dampening the impact of pricing pressure from dominant clients. For local SME in particular, buyer power remains low to moderate due to limited scale and customer realization needs.
Hello, Miss Duyen. I would like to begin with an analysis of Gemadept's strengths. In 2024, Gemadept recorded impressive growth, with revenue reaching 4,832 billion Vietnam dong, a 31% increase compared to 2023. Net profit after tax was 1,923 billion Vietnam dong, indicating a significant improvement in business efficiency. Also, interest expenses rose slightly from 131 billion to 139 billion Vietnam dong in 2024. The interest coverage ratio remained at a reasonable 15.5, lower than the previous year's 24.32. In terms of sustainability, Gemadept has honored with the 2024 Asian Green Pork Award for Yungwook Pork, demonstrating its strong environmental commitment. Additionally, the company is executing major projects such as Phase 3 of Nam Dinh Vũ Pork and Phase 2 of Gemadept Pork Gemelink Pork, both strategic projects to enhance operational capacity. Finally, logistics export in the Mekong Delta region grew by 12.7% year over year, showcasing Gemadept's strong growth potential in regional logistic activities. Next. Let's examine some of Gemadept's weaknesses. Firstly, Vietnam logistic infrastructure still faces many limitations, resulting in congestion, high operating costs, and reduced efficiency. Secondly, a shortage of skilled labor in logistics and technology has hindered innovation and digital transformation. Moreover, Gemadept relies heavily on port operations, which account for up to 87% of total revenue, making the company vulnerable to market fluctuations. On the financial side, interest expenses are rising from 131 million Vietnam dong to 139 billion Vietnam dong, while the EBIT to interest ratio has dropped sharply, indicating growing debt servicing pressure. Large-scale projects such as Gemling Phase 2 and Nam Dinh Vũ Phase 3 also carry implementation risks, including cost overruns, delays, and legal complications. Lastly, fierce competition from multinational corporations and the fragmentation of the domestic logistics market are weakening Gemadep's competitive edge and limiting its expansion opportunities. These weaknesses pose significant challenges to Gemadep's sustainable development and long-term competitiveness. Slide detail. Now, let's explore the strategic opportunities that Gemadept can leverage. The booming e-commerce sector and free trade agreements have the strong growth potential, enabling Gemadept to strengthen its role in import-export activities, warehouse development, and domestic logistics network expansion. At the same time, digital transformation and emerging technologies such as IoT, AI, or blockchain present opportunities to improve operational efficiency and enhance competitiveness. Geographic expansion, especially in high growth regions, also helps Germany access new potential markets. Global trends towards sustainability create further opportunities as the company can benefit from green projects, ESG financing, and an environmentally friendly brand image. Notably, growing demand in cold chain logistics along with agriculture and aquaculture sectors opens up space for development in niche market segments. Effectively seizing these opportunities will help Geomadept strengthen its position and ensure sustainable growth in a rapidly evolving logistics industry. Lastly, let's talk about the strategic threats that Geomadept is currently facing. Global economic volatility in the post-COVID era, along with supply chain disruptions, inflation, and weakening demand, has reduced cargo volumes and impacted port performance. In addition, geopolitical risks such as the Russia Ukraine conflict, US China tensions, and choke points like the Panama Canal and the Red Sea have caused severe disruptions in transportation. Competition is also intensifying as major players like DHL, Maersk, and FedEx continuously press services and cut prices, squeezing margins and requiring constant innovation. Furthermore, Gemadept must navigate increasingly complex legal frameworks related to the environment, labor, and safety, especially stricter ESG regulations that raise compliance costs. And in conclusion, environmental risks such as climate change and rising sea levels, along with volatile fuel and freight rates, complicate financial planning and challenge operational stability. Next, Thành will present the financial analysis.
Hello, Miss Duy. My name is Thành. So today I would like to share with you Gemadept impressive financial journey and sustainable growth strategy for the period from 2022 to the first quarter of 2025, a period that marked a strong transformation in terms of scale, efficiency, and long-term visions. First, we go to the overview analysis. Uh, first, we see that the sales rose from 3,898 billion Việt Nam đồng in 2022 to a stellar 4,832 billion Việt Nam đồng in 2024, a 25 shots driven by an 86% revenue contribution from a core parks operations and a 47% role put in risk to 4.5 million TEUs, fueled by Gemaling Phase 1 and Nam Định Vũ Park expansions. This is the net profit big at 2,534 billion Việt Nam đồng in 2023 with a 65.89% return on sales, thanks to a 1,800 billion Việt Nam đồng divestment gain before stabilizing at 1,934 billion Việt Nam đồng in 2024 with a solid 39.82% return on sales. Total assets and total equity saw 38% to 17,998 billion Việt Nam đồng by 2024, with the long-term assets consistently about 60% above, reflecting the capital-intensive logistics sector. 3,001 billion Việt Nam đồng rights issued in 2024 pushed the equity to 13,772 billion Việt Nam đồng, 76.5% of our total assets and total equity, splashing the total debt ratio from 39.01% in 2022 to 23.48% in 2024. Liquidity triple, with the current ratio hitting 3,317.67% in 2024, and cash reserves jumping 169% to 3,964 billion Việt Nam đồng. Return on sales and return on equity remain impressive, peaking at 18.61% and 10.69% in 2024, and respectively well above the industry benchmark. Strategically, Gemadept invested heavily in expansion, launching Gemaling Phase 2A and Nam Định Vũ Park Phase 3 in 2025, aiming for over 5 million TEUs per year capacity, which will finish by late 2026. By the first quarter of 2025, the company deployed 906.4 billion Việt Nam đồng, including 276 billion Việt Nam đồng into Nam Định Port, while reducing short-term receivable by 126.6 billion Việt Nam đồng, reinforcing its leadership in Vietnam's logistics sector with a strong, sustainable, and trajectory. The next slide is about the 2022 year of the resilient growth. In 2022, Gemadept saw stock company rise in the post-pandemic recovery, capitalizing on charging global trade and container shipping demand to deliver corporate financial performance. Consolidated revenue soared to 21.6% to 3,898 billion Việt Nam đồng, driven by 79% contribution from port operation, which Gemadept dips terminal, turning a profitable at 84 billion Việt Nam đồng, and Nam Định Port Phase 2 adding 1 million TEUs in capacity. In the net profit shot 42.9% to 1,161 billion Việt Nam đồng, driving a 29.8% net margin and operational efficiency. Joint ventures, notably Saigon Cargo Service, boosted affiliate profits by 72% to 406 billion Việt Nam đồng, enhancing Gemadept's integrated logistics ecosystem. The total assets grew 7.1% to 13,031 billion Việt Nam đồng, supported by 1,510 billion Việt Nam đồng in high return capital investment. A total debt ratio of 39.01% and the current ratio of 81.57% underscore the financial prudence, while return on assets and return on equity at 8.91% cited efficient capital use with expanded capacity and a strong balance sheet. The Gemadept solidify its leadership in Vietnam logistics sector, poised for sustainable growth. The next slide is in 2023. And strategies. Divestment fuels record profitability. In 2023, Gemadept recorded a stable revenue at 3,846 billion Việt Nam đồng, with port operations contribution 76%, despite a slide of 1.3%. Revenue dipped, a net profit shot 118% to a record 2,534 billion Việt Nam đồng. Primarily due to one of the gain from a divestment of the Nam Hải Đình Port, and you can see on the right side of the slide. The profit spike was driven by a significant one-off gain from divestment on 84.66% stake in Nam Hải Đình Port, boosting pre-tax profit to 3,147 billion Việt Nam đồng, up 1,400% from 1,308 billion Việt Nam đồng. The total assets grew 4% to 13,546 billion Việt Nam đồng. Short-term assets saw 39% to 3,380 billion Việt Nam đồng, and liabilities dropped 25% to 3,814 billion Việt Nam đồng, with a short-term debt down 40.3% to 1,915 billion Việt Nam đồng, improving the total debt ratio to 39.01% to 28.15%. The current ratio doubled to 1.76, reflecting stronger liquidity. Return on sale and return on equity improved to 18.7%, and return on sales jumped to 65.9%, indicating exceptional profitability, even excluding the extraordinary gain and score. And core efficiency improved thanks to reduced costs and stronger assets utilization, positioning Gemadept on solid financial footing for future growth. And the next slide, see in 2024, a strong core growth strategies resilient. In 2024, the Gemadept cooperation delivered a stellar 25% revenue just to 4,832 billion Việt Nam đồng, from 3,846 billion Việt Nam đồng, driven by a 47% increase in room output to 4.4 million views, and an 87% contribution from port operations posted by expanded capacities at Nam Định Phủ and Summerlin Port, and a 10% hike in handling fees. Net profit after tax fell to 1,934 billion Việt Nam đồng, from 2,534 billion Việt Nam đồng, due to the absence of 2023 one-off divestment gains, yet core profitability remains strong with a 40% net profit margin. The total assets saw 33% to 70,998 billion Việt Nam đồng, with short-term assets to 6,674 billion Việt Nam đồng, supported by a 1,081 billion Việt Nam đồng capital rise that boosted equity by 41.5%. Liabilities rose slightly to 4,226 billion Việt Nam đồng, but the total debt ratio dropped to 23.5%, and the long-term debt to 11.8%, reflecting the prudent leverage. With a current ratio about 3x, more about triple. The return on sales at 39.82%, and about the return on assets and return on equity at 10.69%, and strategies investment in infrastructure. Gemadept solidify its leadership Vietnam logistics sector poised for sustainable growth. The next slide, let's see the first quarter in 2025. Strategies growth and efficiency. In the first quarter of 2025, the Gemadept Corporation executed dynamic financial strategies by deploying 906 billion Việt Nam đồng in cash to fuel growth and optimize capital. Key investment included 276 billion Việt Nam đồng to boost its stake in Nam Đình Vũ Port, 535 billion Việt Nam đồng in affiliate loans to strengthen its logistics ecosystem, and 62.6%, 6 billion Việt Nam đồng to retire high-cost short-term debt, plus interest expenses. Additionally, 118.1 billion Việt Nam đồng was placed in time deposit with benefits from rising interest rates. The long-term assets grew by 11.823 billion Việt Nam đồng, driven by port expansions and warehouse automations, while the short-term receivable dropped 126 billion Việt Nam đồng, enhancing cash flow efficiency. On the liability side, the short-term debt fell by 113 billion Việt Nam đồng, and current liability declined 238 billion Việt Nam đồng, while long-term borrowing increased modestly by 36.8 billion Việt Nam đồng to support key projects. The equity rose by 144 billion Việt Nam đồng, driven by a 62%, 62.1 billion Việt Nam đồng. Capital increase via ESOP divided reinvestment and 22 billion Việt Nam đồng in retained earnings, measuring the first quarter net profit of 403 billion Việt Nam đồng, with a current ratio of a triple. Return on sale at 31.56%, and return on asset and return on equity at 2.23%. The similar disciplined approach position it to capitalize on Vietnam's big booming trade and drive sustainable value creation. The next slide, let's see the conclusion of the financial analysis. In summary, from 2022 toward the first quarter of 2025, the Gemadept has executed a balanced financial strategy that emphasizes addressing growth while maintaining a sound and flexible capital base. The company expanded its bulk and logistics infrastructure, modernized operations through automation, optimized its capital structure by lowering debt reliance and ensure robust internal liquidity. These achievements, backed by a solid core profitability and prudent investment decision, have positioned Gemadept as a leading force in Vietnam's logistics and port sector, with a goal of investing in a construction of Phase 2, Phase 2A, Semiling Deepwater Port Project, and Phase 3, Nam Đình Vũ Port by 2025. Semiling is ready to take advantage of change of the global supply chain and embracing logistic needs to Vietnam's growing roles in regional and international trade. So this is the finish of financial analysis. And the next part, let's see, Phú.
So greetings. I will cover the last two part of our presentation today, which is the non-financial analysis and the stock performance review. So, for the non-financial analysis, in 2023, Gemadept formalized an ESG steering committee and board, which report directly to leadership, bringing together senior executives from finance, operation, human resources, sustainability, and legal, each with quantitatively defined key performance indicator, with some of these being a 5% annual reduction in Scope 1 and 2 of emission with baseline of 2021, a 100% ISO 1401 and 4501 compliance across all sites with audits across all terminal and warehouses, and a 25% drop in lost time injury frequency in the period of 2021 and 2023. And the KPIs are reviewed quarterly to drive continuous improvement. This rigorous government net framework earned Germany three Vietnam listed company award in 2023 for top 10 non-financial annual report, top 10 sustainable development report, and top 10 corporate governance report, and secure its place among Vietnam's top 10 most reputable public companies, validating its discipline transparent approach to long-term value creation. Gemadept actively engages in community activity, with a notable example being the 2022 Gemadept Run, which successfully brought over 100 participants to raise funds for a school building project in the Highlands, with a result being 1,200 tons CO2 reduction in Q1 of 2022 and Q1 of 2020 compared to Q4 of 2022. Gemadept Sustainable Growth treats employee as strategic assets. As of December 2024, the company employs 1,512 staff across eight major seaports, six inland container ports, and four regional offices. Between 2022 and 2020, the company have invested over 5 billion Vietnam dong in training and development, delivering more than 12,000 hours of classroom and e-learning module on balanced scorecard, KPI alignment, international financial reporting standard, greenhouse gas accounting under ISO 14064-1, and sustainable port management. The ESOP in the period of 2021 and 2025 also ties reward to performance, helping reduce turnover by 18%. Occupational health and safety. A robust occupational health and safety system tracked to a safety dashboard deliver a robust training curriculum of over 2,000 hours annually, which covers fire prevention, lockout and tagout procedure, and hazard recognition in high-risk port and cold storage environment. Annual medical checkup for all employees help detect potential occupational illnesses early. Between 2021 and 2023, the company recorded a 25% reduction in lost time incidents with zero major operational stoppages due to safety issues, testament to the positive spillover from cleaner, more organized workplaces and additional hazard monitoring. So that's the end of the non-financial analysis, and we go to the stock performance. From January of 2022 to May of 2025, the performance of Gemadept stock witnessed notable fluctuations driven by both internal development and external market dynamics. In early 2022, Gemadept stayed steadily at 52,000 Vietnam dong per share, supported by post-COVID recovery and Gemaling Phase 1 operation. By, and despite lingering global logistics disruption due to COVID-19 and the Russia-Ukraine conflict, Gemadept demonstrated resilience thanks to its well-integrated port ecosystem and logistic operation. By June of 2022, Gemadept stock saw an upward trajectory, reaching the 58,000 to 60,000 VND range. This growth was fueled by solid business performance in the first half of the year, with net revenue reaching 1,365 billion VND, a 28% increase year on year, and free tax profit climbing 87% to 350 billion Vietnam dong. The company major ports such as Nam Hai, Đình Vũ, and Gemelli were operating stably, and the logistics segment rebounded strongly. While global fuel prices and logistics costs remain high, Gemadept managed to outperform many logistic peers in Vietnam. Towards the end of 2022, Gemadept's share remained strong in the 60,000 as to 62,000 Vietnam dong range. Total net revenue reached 3,010 billion Vietnam dong, an upward of 18% from 2021, and net profits soared to 1,098 billion Vietnam dong. The company also announced a 15% cash dividend and showed marked improvement on return on equity and EPS, despite broader market concern over rising interest rate and tightening liquidity. Gemadept remained a solid pick in the infrastructure and transport sector. By middle of 2023, the stock experienced a modest pullback to around 55K to 56K per share. This decline reflected a temporary slowdown in business, with six-month revenue remaining flat at 1,689 19 billion Vietnam dong and free tax profits slightly down to rising operational costs and weaker throughput at northern ports. Gemadept maintained healthy gross profit margins, stable operating cash flow, and low financial leverage ratio. The medium-term outlook remained positive, supported by continued effective operation of Gemadept and strategic cooperation with CJ Logistics. By December of 2023, Gemadept stock peaked at 70,000 Vietnam dong on strong performance and port divestment front. The stock gained traction due to market excitement over its plan to divest from Nam Hai, Nhật Việt Port, and progress on the second phase of Gemelli Port, with full-year profit exceeding 900 billion Vietnam dong and consistent performance amidst a volatile environment. Investors grew more confident in the company's ability to deliver long-term value. By June of 2024, it hits 82,000 Vietnam dong per share, boosted by a 354 billion gain from Nam Hai divestment. This was driven by impressive Q1 financial result. Net revenue rose 11% to 1,005 billion Vietnam dong, and free tax profit reached 656 billion Vietnam dong, 2.6 times higher year on year. The main catalyst was a 354 billion Vietnam dong gains from the sales of 99.98% of its stake in Nam Hai, Nhật Việt Port, which pushed financial income up 17 times. Moreover, preparations were underway for Gemelli Phase 2A, with construction expected in Q2 of 2025, aimed at adding 600,000 TEUs in capacity to reach a total of 2.4 million TEU per year. However, by late or December 2024, Gemadept's share slightly corrected to around 76,000 to the 78,000 Vietnam dong range. The absence of extraordinary financial gains led to more measured expectations. Core earnings returned to normal levels, primarily derived from port operation and logistics services. Nonetheless, long-term prospects remain favorable due to ongoing deep water port development and cost optimization strategies. By early 2025, the share dropped to 47,000 Vietnam dong due to tax shift and trade tension, and rebounded to 56,000 Vietnam dong in May. Despite the turbulent market sentiment appeared to stabilize as investors turned their attention to the anticipated groundbreaking of Gemelli Phase 2A in Q2 of 2025. The company's strong financial position, boosted by successful asset divestment in 2024, meant that it could proceed with expansion without raising significant external capital. And that marks the end of the stock analysis part. For the conclusion, Gemadept combines strong financial performance with strategic ESG integration and long-term growth potential. Between 2022 and 2024, the company increased revenue to 4,018 of 32 billion, an increase of 25%, and improved operating and net profit margin to over 27%, supported by declining debt level with a debt to assets ratio down to 23.5% and strong capital efficiency with return on assets and return on equity being more than 10%. Non-financially, Gemadept had institutionalized ESG through an executive level committee, achieving key KPIs such as a 25% reduction in workplace injury and full compliance with the ISO. Yeah. Over 5 billion Vietnam dong were invested in workforce training with program tied to performance via an ESOP, reducing turnover by 18%. Given recent share price correction, the 500,000 and to 5,500,000 55 the five the 50,000 to 55,000 Vietnam dong range offers a compelling entry point to medium to long-term investment. And that marks the end of our presentation. Here's our contribution rate chart, which lay out the contribution rate and the works that you have done. So thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. This is at the end of our group presentation. Thank for your time and attention. I hope the insights here today will have provide provide the information about the financial of Gemadept Corporation. And I will have very happy and pleasure to take any question if you may have. Thank you, Mr. Nguyen. Hỏi dừng được rồi á.